Hi, I'm Mark Barsamian with the Math Department at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. I'm the coordinator for the course Math 1350, Survey of Calculus. This is an introductory video for the 24 Athens campus sections of Math 1350 that are being offered this spring semester of 2023. Now, as I said, I'm the coordinator of the course. That means that I've developed the course content, the outlines for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings, the quizzes in the exams. I write those. I've developed a collection of homework, a rather large collection of homework assignments, and I've produced a bunch of instructional videos that accompany most of those homework assignments. But I'm not an instructor for the course. There are 12 instructors that teach the 24 sections of Math 1350 on the Athens campus. So I work behind the scenes, developing the course content. I support the instructors, I answer their questions, I observe them, we have meetings, but you might not see me in person at all this semester. You'll see plenty of my face in the videos that you watch, but you probably won't see me in person. Now, there are some situations where a student might need some help that will involve me, and so that I might meet with a student in person or on Teams. But like I said, you probably won't see me in person. But if you do see me on campus, say hi and tell me that you're in the course, and I'll enjoy hearing about you and what you're studying here at OU. All right, well, in this introductory video, we're going to start by looking at the Blackboard page for the course, mainly because that's probably your first point of entry for the course this spring semester. So we'll go there now. Here we are at my Blackboard page. There's a list of a bunch of courses that I'm teaching this semester. When you go to Blackboard, you'll probably see a bunch of courses that you're taking. You should. You'll click on the one for Math 1350. Here I've got a bunch of Math 1350 courses that I'm teaching. The Blackboard sites for all of these are the same right now at the beginning of the semester, so it doesn't matter which one that I click on. I'll click on the Blackboard site for section 100. And I'll enter what's called student preview mode, so it looks like what you'll see. So when you go to Blackboard, you will notice that there is not much in this list of menu items along the left side of the window. There are just three things. Course information, that's the page we're looking at now. Something called digital course materials, we'll talk about that later. And then my scores, we'll talk about that as well. So here on this course information page, there's information about your particular section, where and when your section meets, and also your instructor for your particular section and your instructor's email. It's your instructor that you should contact for help with issues regarding Math 1350. You shouldn't contact me. I have actually over 400, close to 500 students in the courses that I'm teaching this spring semester. So if you email me about 1350, I might not get back to you for a few weeks. I get so many emails that I can't keep up with them. If you want quick help in 1350, you should email your instructor at this email that's on this main web page. Now, Blackboard is used for only certain things. Like I said, there aren't many menu items here. You'll come to this Blackboard page to find a link to the Math 1350 web page. That's down here. Most of the information about Math 1350 is actually on a web page that is not inside Blackboard. You can come here to Blackboard to get a link to that web page, but it's also a publicly accessible web page. You don't actually have to come to Blackboard to get to that web page. You'll also come to Blackboard to get what's called your student number. That's down at the bottom of this page. There's a list of names of students in the various sections and their student numbers. Now, right now, this list just says temporary student name, but I'll be updating this list at the end of this first week of class. You'll also come to Blackboard to get access to the MyLab math system. That's where you'll do homework. You'll get to the MyLab math system by clicking on this link here on the left called Digital Course Materials. You'll also come to Blackboard to get access to the e-text, the online textbook for the course. For that, you'll also come to this Digital Course Materials link on the far left. And you'll come to Blackboard to get scores on your graded items, your class presentations, quizzes, exams. You'll get those scores by coming here and clicking on this link on the far left. All right, that's what you do when you come to Blackboard. Now, on this main course information page, the next thing is this list of immediate tasks. You'll want to watch the introductory video, which you're doing now. Great. You'll also want to watch the video illustrating how to set up MyLab. Remember, MyLab is the system you'll use for doing online homework. There's a link to an instructional video for setting up MyLab down here on the Blackboard page. You want to watch that video right away, and then you want to set up MyLab and start working on homework assignments right away. The first homework assignments are actually due this week, due January 18th. And then you'll want to come down to the bottom of this Blackboard page and find your student number in that list, and then look for your upcoming class presentations. Those are found in the calendar on the main Math 1350 webpage. Now, I've mentioned a lot of things here in these immediate tasks that might seem a little vague or intimidating. I'm going to talk more about them now, because now we're going to leave this Blackboard page, follow this link to the main Math 1350 webpage. So I click on that, and here I am on this website, which is actually a publicly accessible website. It's not hidden behind Blackboard, although, as I said, we got here by following a link that is in Blackboard, but you can get to this webpage just by navigating to this URL. You can bookmark this in your browser and just come here directly. So on this web page, we'll go from top to bottom fairly quickly. First of all, there's a list of all the sections of Math 1350 being offered on the Athens campus. Remember, I said that there are 24 of those. They're all mentioned here, listed here with their meeting times and locations and their instructor, and a link where you can send the instructor's emails, just like we saw on the Blackboard page, similar kind of list. And then there is a video that will be going here in this little stripe. The video that I'm making currently is going to be put on this web page. So when you come to this web page, you'll see a link to this video that I'm producing right now. Farther down, there's a link to the video that illustrates how to set up MyLab. You might remember that just a minute ago I told you you could also get to those videos in Blackboard. So you can get to those videos by going to Blackboard and finding the links there, or by coming to this web page and finding these links. All right, let's go on down this page. The next thing on this page are some essentials about how the course works. Maybe the most important thing is what's called the hybrid course format. Now, a hybrid format means that the course is delivered in more than one way. In this course, there are two components in the hybrid design. The first component is the instructional videos and online homework. Now, these videos were developed specifically for this course by me, Mark Barsamian, the 1350 coordinator, and they present all of the mathematical content in full detail, all the mathematical content for this course. Now, we do have a textbook. There is an online version of the textbook. I mentioned that in the Blackboard page. You can come to this page to get access to the e-text. That's by clicking this digital course materials link. But a lot of students study simply by watching the instructional videos that accompany the online homework. Now, you can get to those videos a number of ways. There's a list of 4 ways you can get to those videos. One is a YouTube playlist. One is through links in the course calendar. We're going to see the calendar in a bit. Another is through links in the homework assignments themselves. And then, start over. I should have said through links in the list of homework assignments. So we'll look at that list later. And also through links in the individual homework assignments that are in the MyLab system. So there are 4 different ways that you can find those videos for this course. They're not hidden in Blackboard. They're actually publicly accessible YouTube videos. So that's course component 1, the content delivery through those instructional videos and then doing the online homework. Course component 2 is the Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings that are led by your instructor. Now these meetings are held in person on the Athens campus. And the time and location of those meetings I've already mentioned. It's in the list at the top of this web page, and also in the Blackboard page, and also on the Ohio University course offerings web page. Now attendance at those Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings is required. Now, an important thing to notice about those meetings is that they are discussions. The purpose of these meetings is not delivery of mathematical content. Remember, the mathematical content is delivered through the course component 1, watching the instructional videos or reading the textbook. So we talked about that earlier. Course component number 1 is those instructional videos. So when you come to the meetings, they're a chance for the instructor to highlight certain topics, or maybe present a few additional examples, or maybe pose questions about the content that students will answer. And then most importantly, the class meetings will include contributions by the students in the form of student presentations. Now that might sound intimidating, but you'll see very quickly that the student presentations are not a big deal. There are basically 3 types. One is that you present a basic example. Another is that you might present a certain part of an example that the instructor is presenting, or you might just answer a question that the instructor poses. Now, the student presentation assignments are posted in the course calendar. We'll look at the course calendar in a little bit. And they're posted at least a week before the student presentation is to be made in class. Now, some meetings, mostly Wednesday meetings, will also include what are called class drills. Now, these are written and they're turned in, but they're not scored, and they are not part of your course grade. We have you write them and turn them in just so your instructor can see how you're doing. These class drills are things that you'll work on during class with a partner. They are typically basic examples that are related to something that was just discussed in class. Now, on almost every Friday, there will be either a quiz or exam. Now, there's a bit of a typo here. There should not be a break in this line. The only Fridays when there's not a quiz or an exam are these 2 Fridays. The first Friday, the first week of class, January 20th, and the last Friday of the semester, Friday, April 28th. Those are the only Fridays when there's not a quiz or an exam. On all the other Fridays, there is either a quiz or an exam. In particular, there is an exam on Friday, March 10th. That's the Friday before spring break. So if you don't want to come to that exam, then you won't get a score for that exam, and that will affect your course grade. If you don't like the idea of having an exam on the day before spring break, this is the time to drop this course. This course has something happening almost every Friday of the semester, including the Friday before spring break. Now on those Fridays, on quiz Fridays, there will be some discussion in the meeting, like maybe 35 minutes or so of the 55-minute meeting. And then the last 20 minutes or so of the meeting will be a quiz during the meeting, a written quiz. Now on exam Fridays, the entire 55 minutes of the class meeting will be used for the exam. So that's the hybrid format of the course, the 2 components, the instructional videos that deliver the content for the course, the mathematical content, and then the Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings that are led by the instructor that are discussion meetings. The next thing on this webpage is the course calendar. Here's a link. It takes you to this web page that's the calendar. Now this web page has sections that expand. Each week expands, and then within each week there's a list of homework assignments that expands, and a meeting outline that expands. So this is an active web page. There is also a printable PDF page of the calendar that is not active. You can click on this link, pull up this single page calendar that's kind of a summary of the calendar, and you can print that. Now let's look in more detail at this at this calendar that's active, the web page for the calendar. We'll open week 2. Notice that there are a bunch of homework assignments this week. Now you'll go to My Lab to do those homeworks, but I mention well, throughout the course I'll mention that it's very important that you write down your solutions to homework assignments. So you'll go to My Lab to type in answers to your homework questions and see if your answers are correct, but the bulk of your homework work should be writing homework solutions down in a notebook. And you'll work on the homework after watching the videos for that accompany the homework. So here's an example of a video for one of the homeworks. The homework 11 video is here.
How to sound more confident in your writing. 1. Remove hedging language and be direct. For example, instead.
Hi, I'm Mark.
So there I am delivering this video, and you'll see that during the video I write on the screen. And
found that the limit.
After you watch the video, you can actually come back to the calendar, or in the homework assignments, these links are also found, and you can click to see the notes that were produced in the making that video. So these are PDF files that are all the notes that were developed before the video was made, and then also that were marked on in the making of the video. So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of students have related to me that they have learned the material for this course by watching these videos and reading these notes. Some students also read the electronic text for the book, but not all. So there's the list of homework assignments for this week 2. Now, there are 3 class meetings in week 2, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class meetings. Each of those meetings has an expanding menu of topics that are covered in that meeting. So for instance, day 3, Monday, January 23rd, there are these 4 topics for the meeting. Now, here we go. Here's the meeting outline for that part of the meeting. Your instructor will do this stuff. If we keep going, though, you'll notice farther down the meeting outline for this day 3, there is a student presentation. Student number 1, whoever you are, you're going to do a presentation on Monday of the 2nd week of class, and here is your assignment for that presentation. Now, when you get around to this, studying for your presentations, one thing you'll notice is that the presentation assignments always have hints, what video you should study, what notes you should read in order to prepare for your presentation. So, like I said, these presentations are not meant to be mysterious. They're often just illustrating a simple concept that was presented in the video. There are some actual examples that involve solving problems, and sometimes those problems are hard, but they, like I said, they're always based on something that's presented in the video. So you have plenty of resources for learning about your material for your presentations. Now, also notice at the end of week 2, there's a quiz 1, the end of the Friday, January 27th meeting. You'll be able to come here and get more information about that quiz closer to the quiz date. So that's how the calendar works for the course. Like I said, there's a button for every week of the semester. Now, at the very end of the calendar is a description of the final exam. Notice that all of the Athens campus sections of Math 1350 have a combined final exam on this date, Thursday, May 4th. All right, well, that's the calendar for the course. So we've learned about the course format. We've learned about the calendar. I've mentioned the combined final exam. Now, let's talk about the grading. Here on the main course web page, there's in this section of essentials about how the course works, there's a button you can click to see the grading details. In this course, you'll accumulate points for a total of up to 1,000 possible points. You'll get those points 4 ways. You'll do presentations, 4 of them, 10 points each for 40 points possible from the presentations. You'll take 9 quizzes, 30 points each. That's 270 points possible. You'll take 3 exams, 160 points each, for a total of 480 points possible. And then the final exam is worth 210 points. So all of these points add up to 1,000. At the end of the semester, your points total will be divided by 1,000 to get a percentage, and then that percentage will be converted into a course letter grade using this grading scale. Now notice that this is an 85, 70, 55, 40 grading scale. It's not the usual 90, 80, 70, 60 grading scale. Now, during the semester, you can keep track of your current grade. You can keep track of your scores on all the graded items, the class presentations, the quizzes, the exam, the final exam. You won't know that score until after the semester's over. But with those scores, you can use this grade calculation worksheet. I'm going to click on this. It'll open in a new window. This is a list of all the graded items, and then the points for those items, and then places for you to write your score on that item, and keep a running total of your scores in this next column. So I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to show you an example of one of these grade calculation worksheets partially filled out. So here on the course webpage, here's one. It's a sample of that grade calculation worksheet. So here's somebody who got a 17 out of 30 on quiz 1, a 23 out of 30 on quiz 2. They did class presentation 1, they got a 10 out of 10. On exam 1, they got 128 points out of 160. On quiz 3, they got 27 points out of 30. On quiz 4, they got 28 points. So they put their scores in this column, the your item score column here. And then they kept a running total of their current score. So at the end of this period, they've got a total of 233 points. But you can see that at the end of the second week, for instance, they took at the end of the third week, they took quiz 2. At that point, their running total was 40 points. The current points possible at that point were 60. So at the end of that third week of class, their percentage was 66.7%, which in our grading scale for this course is a C+. And then you can see, excuse me, that after taking exam 1, their total for the semester was 178 points out of 230 points possible. So that's 77.4% at that point in the semester. That's a B. And then here at the end of I guess this is the end of the 6th week, they took quiz 4. They got 28 points out of 30. So their total for the semester is 233 out of 290 possible. So that's 80.3%. Using our grading scale, that's a B+. So you can fill out your own table like this as the semester goes on, and you'll always know what your current grade is. So that's how the grading works. Now notice that there are some things that are not part of your course grade. First of all, attendance. Attendance is required in this course, and it's recorded. Your instructors will be taking attendance and recording it. But it's not part of your course grade. You might wonder why we take attendance if it's not part of your course grade. It's because we need to know that information. We need to know who's coming to class and who's not. Homework is not part of your course grade. You will be writing homework on paper to study, and then you'll be typing answers into the MyLab system, hopefully. And the MyLab system will score your answers, but those scores are not used in computing your course grade. And then also, I mentioned earlier that there are class drills that are done in class on some days, mostly Wednesdays. Those are those things that you work with a partner to complete, and you turn in. Your instructor will look at them, but those are not scored, and they're not part of your course grade. So that's the grading details for the course. There's some information about required computer tools. I've already mentioned some of this already. We use Blackboard. I mentioned that earlier. We use that system called MyLab Math. That's an online system for doing homework and for accessing the e-book for the course. Other useful computer tools are Microsoft Teams and CAM scanner, you can come to this webpage and learn more about those. So that's the essentials about how the course works. Now, some immediate tasks. I mentioned some of these on the Blackboard page. You want to follow the instructions to get MyLab configured right away and get started doing homework on paper first and then typing the answers into MyLab to check your answers. So you want to get that going right away because the first homework assignments are due in MyLab on Wednesday, January 18th. Like I said, if you miss the homework deadline, it's no big deal. You can work the homework late. But I want to have these due dates so you know roughly where you should be. Another immediate task I mentioned was to find your student number in the list on the Blackboard page. Now, that's the immediate tasks. Your routine, the study routine, is this. You should organize your work by keeping an eye on this should say two calendars or two schedules. In the MyLab math system, there's a list of homework assignments with due dates. You should keep an eye on the upcoming homework due dates and do those assignments and submit them. And then in the link above on this web page, there's a list of meeting topics for each meeting. These meeting topics include presentations that you will be doing. So you should keep an eye on that calendar here. Here's the calendar, and look at upcoming meetings to see who's presenting on those days. Here we are in week 3 on Monday, January 30th, student 9, student 10, and student 11 and student 12 are presenting. So that's your study routine. Again, keep an eye on the homework assignments on their due dates, and then keep an eye on the calendar for the semester, and see which days have presentations for you to do. So that's your routine. Now, there's more information on this web page, information about the attendance policy for the course, our policy on cheating, and then some more resources here. There are information about tutoring, information about the Office of Student Accessibility Services. Now, this is very important. If you have specific needs due to physical, psychiatric, or learning disabilities, and you require accommodations, please let your instructor know as soon as possible so that we can meet your learning needs. You should also register with the Office of Student Accessibility Services to obtain written documentation and to learn about the resources that are available to you on our campus. So the rest of the stuff on this webpage is fairly self-explanatory. You can come here to learn about what's called the Inclusive Access Program. That's the system by which your digital course materials, the online homework system, and your e-text are paid for. But that's all I want to discuss about this webpage. There's, I think that's enough for the video. So let me cut back to talking to you directly. That's it for the main course organization. You'll meet your instructor on the first day of class, which is Wednesday, the 18th of January, and we start out quite briskly in this course. You'll see that there are a lot of homework assignments. They come rapid fire, but I hope that it's productive work, that you find the course rewarding, and that you learn stuff. This course format that we've been using for a couple of years now, since the pandemic. We've been using this format, and it's working well. Students do work hard, but the success rate is pretty good in this course. So I hope you have a productive, successful semester. Thank you.